Is it worth all the time and the effort? Absolutely. First and foremost, I would say that it's a great way to showcase what your program is doing on campus. It's a great self-assessment. It's certainly leverage for grant opportunities.
And I think the most valuable part of applying for the Carnegie Community Engagement Classification is the process of thinking deeply about what's going on with engagement at your institution and what are areas that maybe need to be strengthened, and how can you really make engagement a deep, pervasive, high quality part of your entire institution. And the Carnegie Community Engagement Classification is really the gold standard for engagement in higher education. And for those of us who understand the power and the impact of engagement, it provides a tremendous roadmap and process to help improve our programming and deepen our work.
I think that applying for the Carnegie classification is a wonderful opportunity for self-assessment. I've shared with some institutions, sister institutions, that even if they don't feel like they're ready to apply, to use the application as a process is a valuable opportunity to see where you are, to gain a sense of where your strengths and weaknesses lie.
They recommend that you put a committee together, and I tried to do that the first time and it just became very unwieldy. So what I did was I just went through the application, looked at all the questions, made notes, and decided who I needed to interview on campus to get all that information.
In my experience, anytime there's a naysayer, as soon as they hear from students or from a community partner whose lives have truly been transformed because of this experience, it makes it much easier to work with them, and they're more likely to provide us the information that we need. Also, we have excellent administrative support at our institution. So our president is committed in his core to community engagement. So he's made that clear. And so the folks at the institution know that that's a priority for us. And so that also made it much easier to gather the data and get people on board.
So we encountered along the way in completing our Carnegie application some folks that were not so keen on the idea of data gathering. We also encountered folks who were keen on data gathering, and we had some clear revelations through the process of data that we probably should be gathering. We also recognized as a result of the process that we needed some software type of product that was going to help us to do this in a more efficient and effective way. I think the key for us is that we engaged a lot of people over a significantly long period of time. And that's why I would say to people, do two things. Do give yourself plenty of time to begin the process because it's intensive. And do this as a group, as a coalition, as a committee, in an inclusive way, so that as you're learning, a number of other people are beginning to also learn as a result of that.
First and foremost, it brings national recognition to your college. So you're out there, the Carnegie classification puts it out there. Your own public information folks get it out there. It's in the newspapers. So it brings, you're nationally recognized as an engaged campus. It really brought our office to a higher focus on campus, and people started to know who we were and what we did and didn't have to ask questions. It certainly strengthened our service learning program. We've grown exponentially over the years, so it definitely made faculty say, oh, well, yeah, I kind of want to get on board here.
So since we received the classification, our college has leveraged it in a number of ways. Of course, first in a public relations, we want the classification to not only be reflective of us as an institution, but of community colleges in general. We've also leveraged it to secure grant funds, which has been an important thing because many of us are very reliant upon funding from grant makers.
We've leveraged it in many ways. All of the college publications mention and feature the fact that we are one of a small number of community colleges to have earned the designation. When we apply for grants, we always mention the fact that we have earned the Carnegie classification as a way to demonstrate our deep commitment to engagement.
I think we've gotten better at assessment. I think we've been driven by either the presence or the lack of data that we found through the application process. I think that we've also been able to be very strategic about the direction that we want our program to take, and that again has come out of that process of what I would define as self-assessment.
The classification was instrumental in the creation of our Center for Civic and Community Engagement. So that was created in 2015. The groundwork, we spent a good year working on that. And there's no doubt in my mind that being a classified institution helped with that and in supporting, that argument to the president, et cetera. So that was probably the biggest thing it did on campus. And again, the national recognition, people coming to us. I'm constantly getting new requests from community partners that I've never even heard of because they look at our website, they see the center. So yes, it has absolutely really, really helped us in many ways, mainly via the center.
Everything about the Carnegie classification has been helpful to our community engagement efforts. Going through the process helped us explore what our strengths and weaknesses were. It helped us identify areas that we needed to improve. For example, when new faculty are hired, how much is engagement part of that process? Do we ask them about their own experience with engagement, their commitment to engagement? Professional development for faculty, how are we doing with that? Student voice, community voice. So it really helped us identify areas where we needed to strengthen our engagement. And it helped us strengthen our professional development that we offer faculty. And it just helped us to put a lens of quality on everything we do and make sure that the whole institution, little by little, is organized around this idea of we have an obligation to help students become effective, involved, lifelong change makers and civic leaders as a fundamental part of our mission.